Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Ukrainians, in this case, the representative of the Ukrainian nation, Mr. Zelensky, tells us how many Ukrainians are fighting for NATO and for him. And there's a surprising number. It doesn't have to be true, but nevertheless, at least he comes again, the second time, when he comes and says, oh, this amount of Ukrainians are putting their lives on the roll to defend me. Oh no, I'm sorry, their nation and their territory. So let's see, I have three articles here. Let's start with the easiest one. Ukrainska Pravda. This is from January 29th, 2024. Zelensky says Ukraine's nearly million-strong army encounters Russian casualties in Avdiivka. Nearly million-strong army. How come he's got time for interviews? But anyway, he's a strong guy. So President Zelensky has stated that Ukraine has 880, I was about to say million, thousand people in its army. So 880,000 people in his army, surpassing the figure of 617,000 Russians mentioned by Putin as Russia's contingent in the war against Ukraine. So it's 600 versus almost 900. This is an interview with the German TV channel ARD. And I'm quoting Zelensky. We are grateful to those who returned to rebuild Ukraine, and not just those who returned to fight. In Ukraine, a lot of people are working for me. Right there. We have 880,000 military personnel. We have a million-strong army, in addition to 30 million citizens working. What are you talking about? You don't have this many in Ukraine anymore, and according to the outside sources, not the Russians. Maybe even more. Yeah, I can't say, but maybe you got them, the guys outside of the country working for you too, trying to find a job wherever they are. I can't say for sure because we don't know. 6.5 to 7.5 million people have left since the beginning of full-scale war. Well, first, we have a million-strong army. Well, I think that have less than 880. That's 880,000. That's a gut feeling. I tell you why. What if he would have put 2 million people over there? For example, who would have contradicted him, Zelensky? Do you think these guys in the Western media would have contradicted him? Do you think that after the war, someone would come and ask Zelensky if he were to be still alive? You lied? He would say, yeah. Nobody would care. Why would they put 880? First, I don't think that's accurate. Why would that be accurate? Why would they disclose this? We are at war. Because if that would be accurate, would give the opposite, the Russians planning to do, right? Oh, 800, oh, okay, 880, so 900. I think there are less than that. I think they're just inflated the number just to make it bigger than the Russians. I think that's what it is. I don't have evidence, but I'm not an idiot, right? So why would you say, and then he said in the same sentence, just look at the sentence, he said, we have 880,000 military personnel. And then he overemphasizes, inflates it. We have a million-strong army. Why didn't he say we have half of a million? Why didn't he go down instead of going up? Don't give me A, he's almost there. He could have made up whatever. That doesn't really matter. Let's move on. And then he said, addition to 30 million citizens working. Ah, man, when they're gonna figure it out, you and your Yermak and your Shmihal will be given the treatment. The president emphasized that whilst Ukraine has a large army, everyone in the country is defending Europe and the rest of the world in their workplace. Now, this is a manifestation of narcissism. That is, if I leave you, you're gonna be dying. Okay? When you think that you overemphasize your self-importance. If we're fighting for Europe, just because some weasels in the West did it, So the baboons will not say anything because their taxes are sent to you? No, you don't fool. And regardless, he said the rest of the world. The rest of the world are not 3 countries, okay? The rest of the world are 193 countries, or 92 without Ukraine if you take it out, or if you other countries that are attacking you. So this is a narcissistic trait. I'm more important than I really am. I'm defending the rest of. I don't think you do that. Some people may say, could say, might say, I heard that they think actually the Russians are defending the rest of the world from United States, for instance, trying to take over and expand its plantation. So how about that? Some people say. As you say this. Let's move on. Zelensky said that Ukrainians who have immigrated abroad should pay Ukrainian taxes. Money, everything reverts to money. And that men who left the country illegally should return. And you're going to just forgive them and throw them right in the front line to be defending their country, right? Those guys who left the country illegally could not have left the country only because they are cowards and traitors. They are traitors by law. That's true. You leave your country when you're eligible. By law, you are. But remember when the Allied, let's put it this way, prosecutors at the Nuremberg trials, remember when at Nuremberg trials, the Nazi war crimes, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this was one of their argument to these marshals and generals, whomever was convicted and hanged. You could have refused to follow the order, and the guy would say, why? On moral grounds. So why don't you take that into consideration here if you are to be just? Maybe some people did not want to fight for you specifically, and for Yermak and Reznikov and Shmihal, or some people didn't want to fight for the other side, which would be the guys that actually control you. Let's say you don't want to fight for the American interest or for the global interest coming from the United States. The United States just used. Maybe they didn't want to fight for that. Maybe some people wanted to fight for the other side, would have gone to Russia. Maybe some people are afraid. Maybe they are cowards. Maybe they think about their families. Maybe they say, you know what, I don't believe in your message. I don't think the narrative that you're giving to us is the true narrative. Could that be possible? And besides, moral convictions. They refuse to follow an order. Like these guys demanded of the Germans. You could have said no, yeah, and then court-martialed and killed, or right on the spot if you were in the field. Well, I would do the same thing. Yeah, okay. You see, it's easy to talk about things when you're not inside. It's easier, I want to say, obviously. Like, I can analyze here, everything is good, everything is nice, and I can say what the shit I want being on YouTube. But it's another thing being over there with your, dirty underwear, fighting, people shooting at you, and being starving and hearing that your girlfriend is fucking the neighbor or something. It's a different attitude. So the same here. It's easy to say like Zelensky say, well, they just illegally, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they don't want to fight for you. Who are you actually? Ukrainian? Get the fuck out. Anyway, we would like those who left the country illegally. I'm quoting. Illegally. He keeps saying illegally, but then, maybe based on moral grounds, and you want to fight. Maybe they're Christians and they love their neighbor and they forgive sins. No? Oh, okay. Of mobilization age to be here in Ukraine, die for me. Once again, Argentina. Once again, the issue is not that we need every one of these men on the front lines. We have a large army, but about justice. The whole garbage that is over there because of some interest is garbage, my friends. Remember Minsk agreements? Well, that was justice. Did you follow those? You ran on a platform of bringing peace. Oh, the Russians were crazy? For what? For 8 years, the country you represent, supposedly, unfortunately, I would say, refused to find the legal documents that they signed in 2014 and 2015. So how about that? Let's start with that one, shall we? Let's start with, if you want justice, with the overthrow of a legitimate, democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych. Let's start with that one, shouldn't we? And many more, my friends. So some people left and didn't return. They will never return. They didn't return to their work in Ukraine. That's their right. But if they are citizens of Ukraine, they should pay taxes, preferably in Ukraine, because these funds are passed on to our military, to our soldiers who protect us, and they protect not only Ukraine, but by extension the rest of the free world. You want to see free world? If right now I live in the free world and I say a truth that YouTube doesn't like, they're going to ban my channel, free world. That's a direct example of not only that. Go to work and say, well, maybe Putin, had a point regarding an issue. You could be fired. Or let's say, I don't think we should hire here based on certain kind of preferences. Maybe on ability, regardless who we hire, regardless of the group. How about we don't institute quotas in hiring or in the government and in the some colleges that they still do it? How about that one? You talk about free world? You gotta be kidding me. Look how free we were during the pandemic. We were so free that they took whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. And next time it's gonna be worse. Why? Because they already pushed it, broke it in. Next time it's gonna be easy to start from the left. You'll see. Now that's the first article. Let's go to the next article. Zelensky announces number of troops defending Ukraine. So the first one was this one with million strong, nearly million strong. And the other one, Zelensky announced number of troops, is the same thing, 880,000. We have 880,000, he stated. It's the same thing here, the same numbers. And here, during the direct line conference in December, Russian dictator Vladimir Putin said that the number of Russian troops fighting against Ukraine was 617,000. Putin noted that 244,000 mobilized soldiers are currently at the front. And another 486,000 military personnel have signed a contract with the Russian army. So actually what? They are only, these guys are at the front, 224. This is on a 2,000 mile line of contact. 244, and the rest are behind, they're working and all that. Well, we'll see. This is the second article, and I'm going to go to the third article, which is one from 2022, if I remember correctly. Correct, from 21st of May. Zelensky, 700,000 soldiers are defending Ukraine today. So it's an increase of 120,000 people. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that today Ukraine is being defended in the war by 700,000 military personnel. So, and then, according to the president, a country like Ukraine needs an army of not 250,000 or 260,000, and there were 120,000 combat troops there. 120,000. Zelensky said, but a significant larger one. Therefore, at the beginning of 2022, he signed a decree on increasing the armed forces by 100,000 people for the following year. I think but I don't think they can afford. If you really want to fight, but you have to fight also according to how many weapons you got. You can't just send them over there to fight with knives and swords. But here it is. So what do you think? Is this 880 or 820? 880. I made a mistake over there, right? I made a mistake of 880. So from 600 whatever they went to 8. No, they went from 700,000. They went to 880. So that means $180,000 people. So what do you think? Do you think that he's lying? And if he's lying, why do you think he's doing so? Do you think that he's actually minimizing the number, or he's maximizing the number? Well, we'll find out after the war, when some people will be allowed to give us the numbers. But then it's going to be, oh yeah, I knew that, or oh, okay, maybe too late anyway. Thank you very much for, too late anyway, it's just for the intellectual satisfaction. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.